Oh, it's the next morning. Here's the whole assortment of calves we had born. I think there's, let me see, 3 heifer calves and 3 bull calves in here. And we're just getting started milking here. Once we get done milking, we'll get these moved into their proper places, while the bull calves will stay in here to go to auction tomorrow. The heifer calves will go over in their stalls. Today, my wife and I came up to Ag Progress Days here in Pennsylvania. It's near State College, and it's basically an outdoor farm show, and they have everything from A to Z here. So we're spending the day here walking around and looking what all's here and what all's available. And yeah, it's always good to come to these kind of things. It's a nice day, but it's going to be a little warm. They're saying it's supposed to be in the mid-90s today, but it is a beautiful day. Well, we got a delivery box here today. It's some stuff we had ordered when we were up at the Ag Progress Days the other day. The one booth, there was one stand that was there. I seen it had some products that you started using for mastitis, and I asked if they had any discounts on anything if we ordered it here at the show. And the one guy there was from the company that sells it here in the US, PBS Animal Health, and he's like, yeah, he'd give us 10% off on anything we order and pay for today. And well, this product was developed over in Italy by a vet, and it's for mastitis. It's all natural. It does not have any antibiotic. You don't have to throw the milk away. And we've been using it probably the last 6 or 8 months, and tried it a little bit, and then we've been using a lot more here the last little while. And well, he couldn't speak English very well, but there was another lady with him. She was kind of interpreting, and she came back and she's like, so he's saying if you would buy 10 cases of it, he would give you 3 free. And I was like, well, sure, definitely. And it's not the cheapest stuff around, but that's okay if it works. And so, yeah, in the midst of everything, well, then they said, well, if you'd be willing to do a little promotional video for us, we'll give you another box free. So anyway, so we got it today. We ended up getting 14 boxes of it. We'll do a little more talking about it here sometime in some of our videos, but we've been using it. It's for mastitis in cows. It works the best if you can get it as soon as, like, whenever you see a cow it's getting some swelling in her one quarter or just a few flakes. If you've got a full-blown mastitis case, I'm not saying it won't help. It might not work as quick or as good, which that's kind of true with all treatment for mastitis. So, but we are going to try to start using it some on when we dry off cows as well, instead of giving them an antibiotic. So anyhow, like I said, we'll try to do a little more video on that and see where this goes. A little update here on the weather. We had last week there, we had over a whole week that was really nice and cool. It cooled way down, and low humidity. You get up in the mornings is in the 50s, low to mid 50s. It was just beautiful. But over the weekend it started getting a little bit warmer. But man, yesterday, I mean, it cranked back in. I think it was like 95 or 96 and a little higher humidity. My wife and I went up to that Ag Progress Days, that outdoor farm show, and it was so hot up there. And I ended up not getting much video. I wanted to do more video until I guess it was just so hot and didn't even really think about it. And today's just terrible humid too. And 3 days ago, there was no sign of any rain in the forecast. Then about 2 days ago, they started talking about a chance of thunderstorms here today, and it's kind of some rain. They're talking there's some rain. You can see the clouds really building up. I'm sure hoping we get something, as it's been a little over 2 weeks since we've had any rain, and everything's looking beautiful at this point. The corn's starting to show drought stress over the ridges. The corn or the soybeans here, they're probably 8-10 inches above my waist. Yeah, they're just tremendous. Yeah, and they're just loaded with pods, and so I'm hoping we get some rain to finish filling everything out. And the early corn's pretty much made. The later corn, the double crop corn, and some of the later corn definitely needs some good rain yet. But here's some of our early corn. I mean, it's just putting tremendous ears on. So most of it is. Yeah, there you can see that ear, and walk in here. There's a second ear started on almost every stalk. Now, whether they'll amount to anything, yeah, you can see the second ear started is just small. hopefully we'll get some, if we get some rain here, it'll finish some of it out. But yeah, just about every stalk in this field has a second ear started. There's even a third little something trying to start. But these ears, I should open one up. They're really fat and big old ears. This corn here is not our tallest corn, but the ears are still right here about head level. So it's probably, I don't know, 12 feet tall, 12, 13, yeah, good 12 feet tall, 10, 12, 11, 12 feet tall. But yeah, like I said, the soybeans at this point look good, except over some of the ridges where the soil's a little shallow. They're really showing drought stress, and the corn, a couple spots where the soil's a little shallow is really showing drought stress. But it's yeah, if we get rain, it'll still be all right. So hopefully we'll get a good soaker here. I think today and tonight, and tomorrow's a chance of some rain, and then after that, there's not a whole lot of a chance for about another week. So yeah, I'll go ahead and pull one of these ears open here. Oh yeah, this ear's denting really good. These ears aren't the longest, but they're fat. Man, are they really fat. Yeah, and the kernels are really deep there on them. And my word, it just cut loose, and I mean, it is pouring down rain. Man, am I ever so thankful we're getting this rain. There's a little air breeze blowing with it, but it's not terrible windy. I had to bed the freestalls this afternoon, and we always do on Wednesday afternoon. Oh boy, they're lightning like crazy. But anyway, I shut the curtains on the back side of the freestall barn right before I bedded them, because I thought it was looking like it was going to rain. And yeah, I'm ever glad I did, because I no more got done bedding them and it just started dumping down rain. And it'd be blowing rain in on that edge row of stalls if I wouldn't have shut the curtains on that one side. Oh boy, it's getting a little windier now. Hopefully it don't get too windy here. There was a gate leaning up against that wall it blew over. And the next day it rained again. Yeah, we got that half inch yesterday afternoon there on Thursday, and this is Friday. They were talking about a slight chance of some rain here today, but yeah, just all of a sudden start dumping down rain. But we'll take all we can get right now.
I'm feeding calves this morning, and I heard the birds fussing and going on. And here we go. There's a bird nest up there somewhere. He's sitting up there on the roof. He's thinking he might get himself a bird this morning. I have these all fed already.
Pouring down rain again. It didn't even look like much was gonna come on radar, and man, it's blowing up right over top of us. We just had a rainstorm go through, and the sun came out just as it was finishing up. We got a full rainbow here in the sky. Catching a cow to go to auction, and one cow jumped right down in the pit. Yeah, well, good morning. This morning is Monday, August the 18th. Catching a couple cows to go to auction here today, and whenever we catch a cow, the one person goes out in front of them to swing the gate to catch them out there, and the other person steps up there in the front and behind them and holds the cow behind the back so they catch the cow that we need to catch. Anyway, my daughter's milking with me this morning, and she was out catching the one cow, or went out ahead of her, and I stepped up behind her and got her caught out here in the catch pen. I turned around, and the cow that was behind her that was, kind of waiting on me to get out of the work, she just turned and jumped right down in the pit. Yeah, I don't think we've ever had that one happen before. We've had them come in the back here and slip through where we, from the holding area, it's come down in every once in a great while. But yeah, don't know if I ever remember them jumping down from the steps like that. But anyway, she jumped right back out of here and went on. So we feed some mineral from a Redmond mineral company out in Utah. They just brought a load here. We get a load about every 7-8 months, and they just brought a load here this morning. They're getting the tarps all off of it, and my son's gonna unload it then. I think there's 23 ton on here. Yeah, a skid usually lasts us about 10 days, I think it is. It's a conditioner, salt, mineral mixture all mixed together. Yeah, here's that mineral and conditioner. When I say conditioner, it's like a clay mineral salt mixture, and that we feed the cows. And I had to go away the other day when my son was unloading it, but here it is all stacked in the shed. There's 23 totes of it. We've been feeding this stuff for probably getting close 10 years now, and yeah, I feel it does a lot of good for the cattle. The clay in there that's mixed in is kind of the same thing as toxin binder. Replace like bentonite, something that binds molds and toxins, anything in the feed like that. So we actually feed it to all of our cattle pretty much from about 4 or 5 month old calves clear up to, through the milk, dry cows, milk cows, and everybody. We don't feed it to the younger calves, but we feed it once they're about 4 or 5 month old. Once they start getting TMR, they're in the new heifer barn. From there on up through all their growing up heifers ages, and dry cows and milk cows all get it. Yeah, we're here getting ready to chop some corn today. The custom guy that we have doing our chopping this year had got a new chopper. I'd mentioned about that earlier in the spring, and they haven't actually chopped any corn with it yet. So yeah, our corn still looks pretty green out in the fields, but the ears, the milk line's about halfway down. We're putting up a small pile, about 200 ton or so. But they get cured a while to start feeding here before long, and we'll probably fill our big trench next week. So, but yeah, try to get some video here, and I think his head's a 10-row head. I'll have to ask him for sure. Yeah, we just put preserver in. He's back over here at the shop, and he's finishing sharpening his knives, and then they're ready to go. They just finished up chopping some hay at another farm. Up this field here beside us, or beside me, right here, it's on the other side of the lane. They're on the first round, so they're chopping right into the trucks and silage carts right behind them. This field here we opened up out here where we cleared this pasture and wooded ground up here 2 years ago, I guess some of it was, and then just last year for part of it. But yeah, there's some tremendous corn out here. Usually over some of the clay ridges where you clean up a lot of trees and dig out a bunch of rocks. It takes a couple years to really get it going. And it's a couple spots that it's not near as good over them areas. Like right here, we're coming into a small spot that, yeah, it's way shorter and a little more spindly. Then yeah, you can see if you come on around here, it comes back to really good corn here before long, and then up over there is another little ridge. But yeah, it's just small spots here and there where have been the highest ridges or a lot of trees growing. So yeah, like I said, it takes a couple years to get that ground built up. The best thing we can do over them areas is haul a lot of pen pack manure on them spots, and kind of builds up the organic matter in the soil and gets it a little more, we call it mellow, or yeah, softer. Yeah, but yeah, I'd say 85-90% of the field looks more like this over here. Probably 12-13 foot tall corn. We're over here in this trench where we put a bag along the one edge. We got about, I don't know, 15 feet of the bag left there, barely that. And it'll be getting all, but we normally put our sorghum and sudex in this trench, which that don't come off till toward the end of September usually, somewhere between the 20th of September and the end of September. So usually if the trench is empty, we'll put a pile here along the wall and feed that out here in the next month or two. And for two reasons. Yeah, and then we'll fill our big trench here in about a week, and then we can close that up and not feed anything out of it till this gets empty. And this is usually pretty much all till we do the sorghum. So yeah, but anyway, that's what we're doing today. We're putting around this corn that we're chopping over here, and usually when we just do this along the wall, we just use our loader tractor to push it and pack it. Seems to work better that way. It's kind of cloudy today. There's a big hurricane brewing out here in the Atlantic Ocean. When I say brewing, yeah, it's out in the Atlantic Ocean. And they're saying we've got this cool cloudy weather from that, but it's not supposed to come inland. It's supposed to come over near the U.S. and turn and go up along the coast, but a whole bunch of the coast is going to get a good bit of rain and some wind, but the hurricane's not supposed to come over land. So hopefully they're right, because it's a big hurricane. I think it's Hurricane Erin, spelled E-R-I-N. So anyway, it's barely out of the, I don't know if it's even 75 today. It ain't much above that if it is. It's 75 and cloudy. Yeah, we have this little bit of bag left from last year and about half of our one sallow. Yeah, it's kind of dry looking here on the top, but it's silage tested really good here to what we're feeding out of the bag. This corn that we're chopping this year should test really good too. There's a lot of grain in it, and I'd say it's in the low 70s. I normally like it in our trench between 68 and 70. But for what we're gonna feed right away, you're better off having it a little bit wetter. They'll digest a little better. We do put a special inoculant on what we feed right away too. It's a lot more expensive, but it's supposed to help it digest, or I say help it digest. It's supposed to help it cure and be pretty stable within about a week. Right here's a section where they opened up out through the middle of the field. Obviously the hollows are the best. Yeah, it's probably 13-14 foot tall right here in the hollow. And then you go out over the hills, it's still 10-12 foot tall out here at least. It's definitely drying down a lot more. here out over the ridges, but yeah, back in there they did a turnaround in there to get the trucks out when they were coming around the first time, whenever a truck got full. It's always neat when they first open these fields up and you got all kinds of trails to go through. But yeah, everybody that works here always enjoys that, being able to ride around through the open areas. There's just like a jungle of corn going into the chopper. Yeah, they're probably going about 3 miles an hour according to my four-wheeler. 2.5, 3 miles an hour. It's just working that chopper. Truck's almost full. There it goes. We finished covering the whole pile. Yeah, according to the loads we put on there, there should be somewhere between 2 and 225 tons. So yeah, once that bag gets all, we're gonna cruise through this stuff pretty fast probably. It'll probably be about all used up in about, I don't know if it'll be quite all till we get the Sudex done, but it'll be awful close.